High levels of hygiene and proper supervision of the same are key indicators of a well-managed farm. The first overall impression of the farm tells a lot about how the farm is managed. Therefore, it is crucial to consider the following. 1. Ensure clean walkways. 2. Empty the feed troughs completely before putting in new feed. This ensures that the smell of old feed does not affect the feed intake. 3. Ensure that both feed and water troughs are cleaned thoroughly every week. 4. Keep the cow barn clean to minimize health and safety risks for both animals and workers. 5. Check to ensure that the cubicles remain dry, free from dung, urine, and water. 6. Ensure that the floor of the barn, including the calf houses, both individual and group pen, are cleaned at least once a day. 7. Always check carefully to ensure that the cow house has no barriers, both for the animals and for the workers. 8. Provide workers and visitors with aprons and boots to prevent diseases and pests from being introduced into the farm from elsewhere. 9. Clean the milking parlor and the equipment every time after use as a way of maintaining high milk quality. 10. Install foot baths at the entry of the farm with visible instructions for everyone to use them. And finally, maintain a strict routine of frequent hand washing, install taps, ensure there is running water, soap and hand-drying towels within the parlor.
Health management. 1. Appoint and assign a qualified, licensed and reputable animal health personnel to attend to the health needs of your animals. For this, get referrals from other well-managed dairy farms. 2. Maintain good contact with the local veterinary office and adhere to their calls for routine vaccination, quarantine, and disease alerts. 3. Make it a routine to check all animals for external injuries and signs of discomfort. Address scratches before they become wounds. 4. Maintain accurate and reliable records including health records. 5. Maintain a separate and unique identity for each animal right from birth. Maintain a file for each cow, and place the records in their respective files.
Dehorning and Disbudding. Dehorning of horned cows is the process of removing their horns or the process of preventing their growth. A polled animal is one that grew no horns or one that was dehorned. Methods of dehorning and disbudding. 1. Disbudding by chemical or hot iron destroys the horn-producing cells of the horn bud. Surgical disbudding removes the horn bud and the horn-producing cells of the horn bud. 2. Dehorning removes the horn-producing tissue after horns have formed from the bud using a dehorning wire, band, etc. Reasons for dehorning and disbudding. Advisors commonly recommend dehorning young calves to reduce the risk of injuring and bruising the rest of the herd. 2. Save on space at the feeding section and other areas of the barn. To decrease risk of injury by enhancing on-farm safety for animals, vets, and workers. To decrease the risk of death, illness, and setback by dehorning them young instead of when older. To produce docile cattle that are easier to handle and decrease aggressiveness at the feeding area. Dehorning at a young age minimizes hazards to the calf and the people who work around them. Hazards for calves and owners include sickness or death following dehorning of older calves. Decreased body weight gain in the weeks following dehorning of older calves. And finally, loss of productivity and stress in older cows. Farmers choose to dehorn newborn calves for the following reasons. 1. The process is easier for the operator or dehorning assistant. 2. Dehorning is less stressful for newborn calves. 3. because of concerns for general animal welfare. Although there is no evidence that pain differs between young and older calves, there is less risk when dehorning young, less than 8 weeks, calves as compared to older animals.
Hoof management. The main objective of hoof management, care or trimming is to prevent lameness by shortening the dorsal wall, to restore a more upright foot angle, and reduce excessive thickness of the sole at the toe. This allows the distribution of weight more evenly over the weight-bearing surface of each claw, and balances weight-bearing between the two claws. The overgrowing of the inner claw, overburdening and lameness in the dairy herd could be due to a number of reasons such as structural or barn issues. For instance, cows reaching and pushing at feed barrier, the floors are not rough enough to file the hooves naturally and are also not comfortable for cows to walk on without injuring themselves. You should have a proper barn structure for your herd to avoid lameness and other form of discomfort. The overgrowing of the inner claw, overburdening and lameness in the dairy herd could also be due to influence by diseases such as foot and mouth, laminitis, interdigital dermatitis, mortellaro disease, interdigital phlegmon, sole ulcer, interdigital granuloma, etc. Prevention can be done through biosecurity measures, such as control of humans and other animals in and out of the farm and vaccination, to prevent the spread of such diseases. The other prevention measure is wearing of protective clothing and boots and disinfecting them. Quarantine of new animals before interacting with others and use of human and cows' foot baths will also help. In addition, nutrition and feed intake play a big role in determining the quality of the hooves. Selective feeding and deficiencies cause cases such as subacute rumen acidosis and other foot diseases and lameness. This can be solved by feeding the cows well-balanced rations and ensuring that the size of the feed chops is small, that is, less than 1 centimeter, and evenly mixed to avoid selective feeding. The other possible reason could be hereditary factors. Breeding allows for improvements in both feet, legs and hoof health. Maintain good records and note these kinds of hereditary issues that affect your herd and breed in such a way as to improve limbs and hooves. Finally, this problem could be dealt with through managerial practices, such as hoof trimming practices, to manage the cases of overgrown hooves. Let us now look at hoof care trimming. Make the inner or medial claw 7.5 centimeters long. Leave 5 to 7 millimeters thickness on the tip of the toe, spare the height of the heel. Cut the inner claw at 7.5 centimeters, as indicated in 1A. Keep the tip of the toe 0.5 to 0.7 centimeters, as indicated in 1A and 1B. Save the heel height represented by 1B. Make the outer or lateral claw equally long and the bearing surface equally high as the inner claw if possible. Make a slope or model in the soles. Cut the outer claw at the same length and cut the bearing surface at the same level if possible. If one of the claws is damaged, which is often the outer claw, lower this claw towards the heel 2/3 of the sole if this is possible. The weight is now partly transferred to the sound claw. If not sufficiently possible, a block is applied to the undamaged claw.